the first thing is always to determine how Charlie could work for your business. And I guess the next question I've got here is, how do I, and I'm just putting myself in the mind of the business owner, and that is, how do I have a Charlie chatbot actually work for me? And based on what you and I have been talking about and employing out there in the marketplace, what I realized was that there was these three really simple steps for onboarding Charlie, isn't there?
Yep, absolutely. It is quite simple. Only because we've had...
It's a bit like marketing, isn't it? It is simple, made difficult by marketers.
Oh, look, mate, I've spent ages just trying to simplify the damn thing so that we can actually educate marketing people. That has been a challenge.
Definitely. So, I mean, look, I guess to make it easier for our audience, what I did do was I broke it down into 3 simple steps. So I'd love your feedback on each of these steps if I can.
Yep.
So obviously, step 1 is setting up your messenger master plan. And that's before you do anything, working out what your end objective you have in mind. Defining that conversation that you actually want to include, that you want Charlie to have on your behalf.
Yep.
And I'm a big fan of really understanding, I know you and I had this conversation, and that is determining the kind of data that you want to collect in that first initial conversation. And so, look, if you're wondering what DGIP data stands for, D is that demographic data. Hey, what's your name? That might help. Your telephone number, maybe your email. G is your geographic data, and I'm a big fan of collecting geographic data, which could be even something as simple as a postcode, which we know Charlie can easily obtain. And it's not that, I find when you collect a postcode, that's not encroaching on, what do they want to know that for? Because they don't know they might know what suburb I live in, but they don't know what street I live in, right? I is your infographic data. So if you've got a business database you're building, infographic data would be around their business, roughly how size, maybe turnover, the industry that they're a part of. And then P is probably one of the most important, and that's your psychographic data. And this is the consumer insights, the buying behavior. What is it that's going to trigger that said lead to actually become, rather than a not lead or a warm lead, but a super duper hot lead for you? You got any initial things that you want to add to step number 1 there, Mike?
Yeah, absolutely. And the end point is most definitely the most important bit.
Yep.
Because that's going to define what objective you use inside Facebook ads, okay, what the message is going to be and what you're going to give, okay, and do you need to ask for anything in return in order for you to give it? Now, that also works in really well with, when you are starting this step 1, you want to make it in such a way that you want to get a lot of people into your funnel. You want the traffic, okay? Because that's also going to teach Facebook's artificial intelligence who your ideal customer is going to be. Therefore, that decreases your ad costs and obviously increases the reach for your campaigns. Look, once they're in your funnel, okay, and you're nurturing them and all that kind of stuff, then Facebook's learning more stuff about it. And the beauty about Messenger is it is the new CRM. If someone drops off after the first question and goes, oh, why are they asking that? Well, humanly, be the human and jump into Messenger and get that conversation going again. So not all is lost. If you're going to sit back and rely on the chatbot all the way through the process, well, geez, what are you in business for?
Just on that note too, you mentioned that you end up educating the Facebook's AI, artificial intelligence, insofar as what you, a consumer of theirs, is looking for, and therefore they're making that data more accessible for you. So it's not just about you going after your potential leads for your business, but actually in the same token, through the use of an artificial intelligence like chatbot, you're essentially educating Facebook's artificial intelligence to redirect to you the type of lead you're looking for, because obviously it works in Facebook's favor if they make you happy, because you are essentially providing them with consumer insights.
Oh, absolutely. And it makes them very happy because they're not beating their head up against the wall. That's why in that conversation, when you're putting it, when you're structuring it, you can use, let's say, search terms in natural language as your responses. And if you're answering them at the end of the chat, you're helping Facebook big time.
Absolutely.
You know, you've effectively given them a line of code that booyah one, yes. But I could talk about that for about 7,000 hours.
And I guess what I want to throw in here is part of step one, and that is also not only just looking at what conversations you want to have inside Facebook with your potential lead, but also what are you going to do with that lead once you've got them? So there's almost like a two-pronged approach to step one, isn't there? There's the actual, what's the conversation I want to have inside Messenger? And then once I've got those contact details, what's the conversation, equally important, going to look like off Messenger? So team, step one is a biggie step. This isn't about, once again, let's just deploy Charlie and see what he can do for us. This is actually understanding that primarily Charlie is going to replace you as a communicator. So what is the conversation on Messenger going to look like? What is going to be post Messenger communication? So remember that when you're looking at step one, it's actually taking that, setting up the process for what happens when that lead comes through from Chatbot. What next?